best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this 4-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds.
That Bud was the best. I got to give it to him. Bud the best, right? He hands down. He the best. He the best right now. I don't think nobody need to question him no more. I mean, you kind of got to give him his respect no matter what. You got to give him his respect. He just went up 2 weight classes what people said he couldn't do. He's doing everything that people say he can't do.
I've been a world champion, as you know, and I've been a 3-division world champion. But I've only won one of the belts. I don't know what it is to be undisputed. I don't know that feeling. Do you understand? What he did last night is unbelievable.
Stephen A. Smith spoke with Floyd Mayweather about how he dismissed Terence Crawford after Crawford's victory over Canelo Alvarez. Smith argued that Crawford had achieved something historic, noting that no fighter had ever been undisputed across so many weight divisions. He said Crawford deserved every bit of his fame and should be praised worldwide, not criticized. According to Smith, Crawford's win over Canelo was far more than just another victory. It was a defining moment that placed him among the all-time greats. He emphasized that Mayweather's comments could not take away from Crawford's remarkable performance.
Best fighter on the planet. Pound for pound, he's that dude. In this 4-belt era, he is now the undisputed world champion 3 times over. 140 pounds, 147, now 168 pounds, claiming all the belts. You don't see people doing that very often. Going up against a guy who was perceived as being bigger and stronger, Crawford was strong. Crawford was strong enough to fend him off, strong enough to make him respect his own power. He used his jab, he used his distance.
Jeff Mayweather also shared strong feelings about Crawford's stunning defeat of Canelo, saying that the loss would forever mark Canelo's legacy. According to Canelo himself, he was the undisputed king of the division and had dominated his opponents. Yet he lost decisively to someone brave enough to step up in weight and fight him on his own turf. Jeff called it more than a minor blemish, a permanent stain on Canelo's record. He explained that people remember the defining events in a champion's prime, and that Canelo's crushing defeat to Crawford would be remembered as such.
He was in discussion certainly with Chavez. What does this do to his legacy? Because I don't think he caught, the Floyd fight didn't give him, people didn't really look down on, because he was, even though he had 40 fights, he was still, fighting one of the greatest ever in an absolute master. In B-ball, he went up weight classes to win. But now he's fighting a smaller guy, a great fighter, but a smaller guy. Does this damage his legacy in any way?
I think it does. I think it does because, the one thing is this, is that, you were ruling, you were the king of that weight class. And the king of that weight class for a good while. And I think that, he had a huge following because, he became the face of boxing.
And even though it's another, future Hall of Famer, still losing a guy come up a couple weight classes, kind of makes you seem not as great as you might have been.
Stephen A. Smith was amazed by Crawford's win and publicly expressed his admiration. He emphasized that being present for such a historic moment made the victory even more real for him. Smith said Terence Crawford is the only boxer in history to move up in weight and dismantle a strong champion like Canelo so convincingly. He called it the highlight of Crawford's career, one that would stand apart from all others. He added that the night would go down in boxing history as a turning point in how greatness is defined.
Terence Bud Crawford moving up 2 weight divisions, really 3 in my mind, because we only fought 1 fight at the junior middleweight division. So he's really moving up from 147 pounds, okay? Terence Bud Crawford moving up to the 168-pound limit in an effort to claim the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world from the grasp of Saul Canelo Alvarez. Now, I was there. Because let me tell you something right now. There's very, very few sporting events in the world that are better than a super fight in Vegas. I can tell you that right now. There's very, very few events. Props to Nick Khan of the WWE.
It was also clear to Crawford's trainer that his fighter had nothing left to prove after the bout. He believes Terence has reached a point where respect is unquestionably due, though some critics still refuse to give it. This frustration highlighted that Crawford continues to fight narratives outside the ring even after beating one of boxing's biggest names. His manager stated that Terence is not even thinking about another fight right now, because what he did against Canelo proved his greatness. Crawford's focus is no longer on chasing names, but on leaving a legacy that cannot be erased.
Terence Crawford and his well-renowned trainer, two-time trainer of the year and future Hall of Fame trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, recently did an interview in which Bomac stated that a fight is not happening. And this particular fight is a fight that everybody wanted to see Canelo Alvarez take, and Canelo Alvarez refused to take this fight with a 28-year-old two-division world champion, reigning WBC light heavyweight, former two-time WBC super middleweight, the Mexican Ecuadorian superstar boxer, who's one of my favorite fighters and a great person, David, the Mexican Ecuadorian monster Benavidez, who is 30 wins, no loss, no draw, 24 wins by way of knockout. Stands at 6'2" with a 75-inch arm reach and fights at 175. But the entire time David Benavidez was fighting at 168, Canelo Alvarez was brought up and he never accepted the fight. And so with that said, now people are trying to project this fight on Terence Crawford. And they're saying that Terence Crawford needs to take the fight. So Bomac yesterday did an interview and Bomac said they're not fighting David Benavidez. And so now people are pushing this notion that Terence Crawford is ducking and Terence Crawford is scared of David Benavidez. And if he don't fight David Benavidez, according to Boxing News 24.
Timothy Bradley emerged as one of the boldest voices, saying Crawford reminded him of Floyd Mayweather and should now top any list of the greatest fighters ever. For Bradley, it wasn't just about Crawford defeating Canelo, it was about redefining what pound-for-pound supremacy means. He stressed that while Floyd refined boxing in his era, Crawford showed he could do it even better by beating Canelo at his peak. Bradley believed Crawford's win placed him on the same level as the sport's original icons.
Too late now. It might be too late, because guess what? He done. Ain't nothing else he needs to do. Ain't nothing else he needs to do in boxing. Yep, y'all doubt him now? Y'all doubt him now? I saw some of y'all goofies on y'all channels. You come here and you get the real over here. That's what you get over here. You want the real? You want a real breakdown from a real fighter, a Hall of Famer? That's what you do. You come right here and you gonna get the real and you gonna get the truth. Dang it, that's what you gonna get. Leave them other lames alone and come right on over here. Yeah, and get the truth and nothing but the truth. I've been trying to tell y'all for years about this. Been trying to tell y'all for years about Terence Crawford. Everybody put his resume down.
Roy Jones Jr. responded with a measured take, noting that both fighters were at their peak, unlike when Floyd Mayweather beat a much younger, less experienced Canelo years ago. He explained that Floyd benefited from facing Canelo early, outboxing him with superior skill and ring IQ. But by the time Crawford fought him, Canelo had been ruling his division for years, fully developed and seasoned. Despite being smaller, Crawford dismantled him. Roy argued that this alone makes Crawford's accomplishment more impressive, as he beat a stronger, smarter, and sharper version of Canelo than Mayweather had faced.
Great in Canelo Alvarez, really 3 weights above his natural weight class. Does that put him in the conversation with the likes of yourself as the greatest fighter of all time?
Yes, it does, and the reason it does is because he couldn't get the credibility down in his own weight class, so he went up to go challenge himself to fight it, and he found a very formidable, good opponent.
Do you think Canelo Alvarez is on the decline or not?
No, I don't think he's on the decline at all.
So you think both fighters are still at their peak, even though they're 36, 37?
Yeah, I think they're both still at their peak. The age for Crawford would seem like he may be beyond it, but he hasn't had the fights, the tough fights we have put him there. And the years of boxing for Canelo would have put him in a position where they're about equal. So I think they both are pretty much in a great place. I think they're both still in their primes, and this is the best time to see them fight.
Duke McKenzie was stunned by what he witnessed. He said Crawford's relentless pressure, speed, and precision left Canelo without answers. Calling it one of the most complete performances he had seen in modern boxing, McKenzie described it as both spectacular and extraordinary. He emphasized that Crawford not only remained a threat but proved he was almost unbeatable even against the strongest opposition. He concluded that Crawford has set a standard so high that few fighters will ever reach it, speaking with a tone of awe and respect.
That feeling, do you understand? What he did last night is unbelievable. He's a 3-time undisputed world champion, and he's beaten the best of the best. Now, for me, there were red flags way before this fight, not way before the fight, in the build-up to this fight. Canelo's body language in the run-up to this fight, he turned up in Vegas in his stretch limo, in his Armani suit. He's had his kids and his wife in the back of the car, and he's got out and he's strolling around like he owns the gaff. Now, that all that signified to me was a very comfortable man. He was too comfortable. And Terence Crawford just kept it real from the outset. Tracksuit, no nonsense, went there to win, said what he was going to do, told the world what he was going to do long before the fight. I think he asked for this fight many years ago. There's a discussion he had with Bill Haney, and I think it was him that actually suggested call out Canelo, which he laughed at the beginning, but then it came to fruition, and now it's come to fruition. I mean, what you saw in that fight yesterday, what I watched in that fight yesterday, it was for the purists. It really was, because you really have to try and understand boxing and know what you're looking at. It was the feints. It was the way that he handled the bigger man. It was the little feints, the little side steps, the little flicking with the jabs, hitting him with the head and the body, the little combinations, the little 2s and 3s, and also with Crawford knowing how to close around, knowing how to win round.
Trainer Robert Garcia made one of the strongest cases for Crawford's greatness, stating that he had done more in this situation than Floyd Mayweather ever had. Garcia said Crawford dominated Canelo over 9 or 10 rounds, taking a risk Floyd never attempted, facing and beating a larger champion in his prime. This, Garcia argued, made Crawford's victory unique and special. For him, it wasn't just about belts or records, it was about the risks legends take to achieve greatness.
Has already accomplished too much, has already done too much, and he wasn't, I don't see that hunger in him anymore. I don't see those changes anymore. He fights flat-footed, throws one punch at a time. He's not fast anymore, and that's why I picked Crawford by decision.
Are you surprised at how easy it was?
Look, not that I'm surprised, because what I just told you, I think Crawford is very talented, and Crawford is hungry to become a legend. He wanted to become that three-time, 3-division undisputed. He wanted to go up, he wanted to make history by going up 2 divisions to beat Canelo, one of the greatest of all time. So he was hungry for it. I think Canelo has already done so much, has made so much money, that he's not hungry anymore.
Do you think possibly that Crawford is up there with Pacquiao or Mayweather?
I think in accomplishments, he's 3-division undisputed, moved up 2 divisions to beat Canelo. So he's probably he's accomplished more than Mayweather for sure. Mayweather never became undisputed, but that doesn't mean he's better than Mayweather. I think in a fight at welterweight, Mayweather in his prime would beat Crawford, and Pacquiao in his prime would probably beat Crawford. But Crawford has accomplished more.
Do you think Crawford should retire after this or fight someone else?
Look, I think a rematch would be fucking good for Crawford to just beat him again and do the same thing if Canelo doesn't have any changes. If he doesn't, he needs to do a lot of changes. Canelo needs to do a lot of changes. I think a rematch would do triple the money that he did in this fight and then retire. But I would be so happy to hear he retires.
Brian Norman Sr. also made it clear that Terence Crawford's dismantling of Canelo Alvarez went beyond anything Floyd Mayweather had done. Fans and analysts alike echoed his view because it captured the essence of what unfolded in the ring. Canelo, long regarded as the best in his division, wasn't merely beaten. He was broken down by a man who had climbed weight classes to face him. Crawford's performance redefined what greatness means in today's boxing. For years, Canelo had been the face of the sport, fighting the biggest names and building a reputation for dominance. His strength and composure made him seem almost untouchable. But in one night, Crawford shattered that image. What shocked people most was not just the result but how it happened. Canelo did not simply lose on the cards, he was outthought and left searching for answers that never came.
Bud on Porter, I didn't think that Bud was the best. I gotta give it to him. Bud the best, but he hands down, he the best. He the best right now. I don't think nobody need to question him no more. I mean, you kind of got to give him his respect no matter what. You got to give him his respect. He just went up 2 weight classes what people said he couldn't do. He's doing everything that people say he can't do, and he is doing it with ease. Right? You got to respect that.
Break it down for me. How did he win that fight in the way he won it tonight?
He won the fight by gaining Canelo's respect. I think he was already in Canelo's head a little bit. I think that even though Canelo knew he was smaller and everything else, these fighters are still humans and they hear what the people are saying. Canelo was Crawford was undefeated. Look at what he did to the Spence. I mean, look at what he's doing to some of these people. So no matter what, I mean, you have to take that into consideration. You know what I'm saying? Even no matter what he did against McCreamon or whatever else, you got to take into consideration what Bud has been known to do when it's time to do it. You know what I'm saying? So again, I think Canelo respected him, and I think that was the biggest part.
Canelo just said in the press conference that Crawford's better than Mayweather, having shared the ring with Floyd. What do you think?
I mean, I think that's one of the things. I think that's one of the things that's it's opinionated situation with the styles make fights. He beat him up. He beat Canelo up worse than Mayweather beat him up. He definitely did that. So in that case, you can ask the question: did he beat him up worse than Floyd did? Absolutely. But I mean, that would be an opinionated thing. The styles make fights. You just never know. You know what I'm saying?
Different eras as well, right?
Different eras. It's a lot of things. You can't really say that.
The legendary Andre Ward placed Crawford's win into historical context, calling it a fight fans would remember for decades as a true turning point. Ward said moments like these define careers and separate great fighters from those whose legacies endure forever. He was most impressed by Crawford's discipline, which kept him composed, sharp, and in control throughout, never letting emotion take over. Ward saw this fight as the moment that made Crawford one of the greatest boxers of all time. By defeating Canelo so decisively, Crawford reached a level of excellence few have ever achieved.
Beat Canelo Alvarez tonight. What was your thoughts on that performance from Terence?
Terence Crawford, great performance, man. He's been doing this throughout the course of his career. The stakes were a lot different in this fight, a lot more danger. He had to fight that kind of fight in order to beat Canelo Alvarez tonight, and he did that at 37, but getting ready to be 38 years old. And he proved, like Max said, that he is the GOAT of this generation. Hats off to Canelo for taking the fight. He didn't have to take it. Hats off to Turkey Al-Sheiks for putting it together. Just a great night for boxing.
Yeah. How special a fighter is someone like Terence Crawford? There was no signs of a size disadvantage there. How special?
You can see it in spots, but it wasn't significant. And I didn't think it was going to be significant. And people called me crazy, but I've been around Terence. He's strong. He's got a wrestling background, and people don't realize that he's been boiling himself down all these years and still being successful, not having to do that. His condition seemed impeccable, and his strength was there, the power was there enough to get respect from Canelo. So what more can I say?
What would you like to see him do next? Do you think there's another fight after this?
I'd like to see him be done. What are we boxing for at this point? What else is there to do? There's always going to be a YouTuber or a reporter or somebody conjuring up another challenge. We box to get ourselves in a better financial position, to build a name and a legacy. Those boxes are checked. What else are we doing?
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates. Until next time.